Excellent. All right, plug in because my laptop's gonna complain about it because it's probably way too much right now. Awesome. Alrighty then. Good evening. It is June 1st already, everyone. 2017, Thursday. Kick off this month right, huh? This is William Newing from Linwood, Washington, Wikispeed, aka headquarters. And I'm joined by Eli in the back, who is continuing to work on our windshield wiper installation. Let's see. What we did last week, we got through backlog refinement of creating actually a couple of backlogs. One for the road legal of the vehicle number 7, and also a backlog for the July pop-up build party. We're just going to call it the Bellevue College build party. We moved a lot of blocks, which is awesome. We actually also put back together the rear module. We're continuing to work on that as well as we're going to continue working on the windshield motor wiper and also the build party for Bellevue College for that build. There's a couple of preliminary items such as ordering mugs and t-shirts and also scheduling to borrow a truck since we don't have one for the trailer. It's kind of important. And try to minimize as much cost as possible. We're also looking forward to perhaps updating our tachometer and odometer for car number 7. We found the Summit Racing digital readout. It looks amazing, and we already started having some ideas of what to do about that. That's it for me, and who would like to go next? Yeah, everybody's so generous.
Okay, this is Lauren. I'll go next.
All right, Lauren, go for it.
Lauren Salter, Gabriola Island, British Columbia. I took the additional data that I was sent, the tax returns, and was able to almost complete the application form. But as far as asset balance, which is needed just for the most recent year, the tax return didn't have what I needed, so that's the block. Coming week, then get rid of that block, and or either get rid of the block or just send it for signature, and let the other part be filled in. Yeah, see if Joe or whatever wants to fill in the other part. So that's it for me for the stand-up. And I'm going to sit down now.
Thank you, Lauren. And who would like to go next?
I guess I was just military volunteer.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm Chris Wallace. I'm the product owner of the Burleson, Texas, USA micro factory. I actually have to read all this because I actually got quite a bit done this week. So last week, I just to start off with, right at the end of the last high five party, I updated the process improvement Google Doc with the team's retrospective numbers, and I actually added a couple of columns there to hopefully for some better tracking. Okay, I shared the audio version of the stand-up recording on YouTube. That took me a few days because it's actually not easy to share an audio file onto YouTube. It requires it to be some sort of a video file. In the shop, I verified that the M14 1.5 nuts are the correct size nuts for the S2000 steering rack tie rod connections. I purchased those last week. I made it to the shop, tried them out. I eyeballed the alignment of the steering and tightened everything down at least to hand tight, so everything, at least visually looks fair right now. We are devising a test to make that more accurate for the upcoming sprints. I updated the distributed Trello website backlog with some new prioritized stories. I did that today, some things that come up during the sprint. Also went ahead and automated the sending of the new team member email to the team Wikispeed Google group. I realized I had made it a dependency to completely fix the actual email first, and I don't know why I made that a dependency. I don't know why I didn't just go ahead and get that done sooner. I also posted this is actually really exciting. I posted the Scrum and Hardware Guide on the wikispeed.org blog. We've been working on that for maybe the last week or so, and we wanted to go ahead and get a publicly visible copy to everyone. I also, kind of because of that, I think I may have written this out of order, but I updated the plugins on the website, and then realized that there was like an issue with the new WooCommerce. I think it was something, their shipping tracking plugin made it so you could not edit post and pages. There was an edit I need to make. It just brought up an error on the site. I was able to manually fix that new bug with just one tiny line of code that I totally stole off the interwebs. And then I also, this is even more exciting for me personally, I worked on the table of contents for the Scrum Guide Esperanto translation. As of right now, 100% of the table of contents has been run through Google Translate, and about 40% has been manually verified as correct translation, modified to make it something that's understandable to actual Esperanto speakers. For next week, I need to fix the CSS formatting on blog post. They're not quite beautiful enough yet. There's some things we fixed on pages that apparently have not been fixed on blog post. It should be fairly simple to do. It's just some CSS work that needs to be done. In the shop, just because I didn't get to this when I was messing around with the steering rack, I need to go ahead and assemble that Harbor Freight Spark spin. I think it's actually going to remove some blocks of finding some parts and tools. I also need to build, when I'm in the shop, a backlog for the steering wheel attachment bracket. At the very least, I might actually start getting to. There's some blocks in the vision there, but I think we may be able to actually start building that. I need to solve an issue with the new member emails not showing custom fields. That would be the one block now. Every other piece of the puzzle has been put together, but we're not getting all the information that we want. I also, because it's posted and it's coming along nicely, I need to iterate through the Scrum and Hardware Guide to add updates from the team and the community. The documents are already publicly visible, so we just need to go ahead and iterate through that. And I need to finish the table of contents for the Scrum Guide Esperanto translation. And the last thing I have on the list here is something that had just recently come to my attention. I need to fix an issue with those new team member emails that are being forwarded to the group. Something is going on where it is CCing the email address that is actually forwarding the email, which could be an issue. It actually can cause a weird loop back issue. And it's not causing a problem right now, but I want to go ahead and take a look at that and see if we can eliminate that issue completely. And the only block I have is that the WordPress Paid Membership Pro plugin has been being a real pain, and we can actually kind of discuss that a little bit more during crosstalk. So that wraps it up for me. Thank you.
That is amazing. Thank you, Chris. Who would like to go next?
So last week Well, not more. I just helped Chris with some problems we had with the WordPress site. Some styles were not being loaded properly. But after that, not much progress. And during this week, so Chris, you mentioned that you managed to fix the fields issue we had in the emails.
I think he was mentioning that it's not fixed. I sent back an email reply to that. I think it was blocked on that issue. He needs someone with some WordPress experience in that.
So we can pair on that if you want. See if try to solve it.
All right, he's got three. He's got himself, me, and you, Stanley. Let's save that then for the crosstalk portion. Do you have, or what are you going to be continuing working on other than we're going to be helping Chris on that WordPress email block?
Well, I don't know what else can be done regarding the fields on the email thing.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, and then later on, I have a question for you as well, Stanley. That reminds me.
Okay.
Regarding housing. Okay. Anything else, Stanley, for stand-up? Oh, please, plus state your name and location as well.
Oh, yeah. So my name is Stanley Jovel, and I'm in Seattle.
Thank you very much, Stanley. And who would like to go next? I think Bruce dropped off, and I hope he gets a chance to come back. And I think Michael, you are next.
Okay, I guess I'll go then. I'll try to give you a video here. 1 second. Is that working? Anyway,
Ooh, look at
it
that.
is Michael Wolchuk, Saskatoon shop, just outside here playing with Polaris vehicles. I sent my stand-up in. I don't remember all of it. Obviously, I picked up these 3 vehicles. Those ones there. And I'm currently trying to get them washed up enough that I can identify bolts and get them loosened off so that I can pull parts. I made a little bit of progress on my Mazda. I've got mechanical mounting pretty close. There's a problem with the emergency disconnect, and there's a problem that I need to get some real radiator hosing. I broke my radiator trying to use hoses that were cheap. I think I just paid the $20 instead of replacing the radiator. And I haven't gotten to any of the rest of the stuff I was going to do. I wanted to get on, review everybody's information on why I joined Wikispeed. I haven't gotten to that yet. Hopefully I get to that next week. I can do that from the lake. I'm pulling some parts off of these things so that I can do something on the weekend. And hopefully I will also get a little bit of CAD work done when I'm in there. And I think that's about it. Was there any points I missed? I don't think so.
Not so much. You have a couple of weeks that you had listed out, so it's okay. You have like week 3, week 4. And you said you're making a lithium pack from your leaf cells?
Yeah, we are. The leaf pack is that I was originally intending for my car. I'm finally going to do something with it. I'm going to put it into these Polarises. They're looking for 48 volts, but they don't use a whole bunch of power. It's like 250, 300 amps to get moving. And then it's about 100 amps continuous when they're moving. So I'll only have about 20 minutes of running time, but that's good enough for playing around with them. And I'm probably not going to take them out of the yard anyways.
Cool. I'll be interested to check that out. And are there any blocks? It sounds like you said fabricate bracket emergency disconnect.
I got a couple of fabrication issues that I need to deal with and a test. I'm trying to put safety first. It's tough when you're all excited about stuff, but I've already blown up a controller, so I don't want to do any testing without the cooling system, and I don't particularly want to crash anything. So the emergency disconnect is very important. I'm going to hold off until I get those cleared up.
Yep.
And I guess that's about it for me.
Well, thank you, Michael. What did I unmute myself or mute myself? That was perfect. We were 7 seconds as I was looking at the recording over 15 minutes. So that was probably my apologies for rambling on and went on a little too long. Even though it is 6:20, my apologies. It's also delayed start. That moves us on to retrospective. Let's continue with the sequence. I will start. How happy am I? How happy am I in my role of 1 through 10? This last sprint, I am quite happy actually. I will give myself a 9. There is quite a lot actually looking back that was completed, but also I was able to maintain a balance, so to speak, of what I am currently doing. I think from what last week, my girlfriend was typing out the stand-up. Thank you for that again, Stacy, out to the internet webs. That was amazing. Unfortunately, couldn't make it. That darn Seattle traffic. How do I rate myself? How I feel 1 through 10? How happy I am? No, how happy do I feel about the team? There we go. 1 through 10. Excuse me. I'd say also a 9. This is wow. Just consistently, we have more than a handful of people on stand-up, if not on call, if not then emailing in. It's just truly amazing. We're putting together so much progress in separate areas that actually come together modularly as we are building different parts of this team Wikispeed. It's amazing. I love it. I like the fact that we are going to go. We're actually invited. We're invited to go to a college to build there. It's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And we're doing it pro bono. That's okay. This is, for students. I think it's for this good cause and reason. If it's for a company, like, yeah, no, you can pay us. Or donate, whichever. But this will be exciting, and it'll probably help us garner some more volunteers and interns as well. If this iterates and works out, wherever another shop is that they need more volunteers, let's do that too. Let's get a build going wherever those locations are. A Kaizen. For me, I currently do not have one. That's okay. I think there was a list created in our process improvement tracking, and if we have any of those that needs to be recycled back out that we did not use or voted, that would be great. I'm actually going to go ahead and pull it up now. Since I'm finished. And I think, Lauren, you're next, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Sure. All right.
So I'm gonna give myself an 8 just because I did roughly what I thought I was gonna do, and the team a 10, and the process improvement might have something to do with attracting, this is not a personal goal, attracting more women.
I understand your sentiments. Like we want this kind of engineering, project management style to attract not just the male gender, but we want to keep it a balance. So, yeah.
It just came to me. I've got more to talk about in crosstalk to do with that. So that's my my 2 cents, and that's it for me.
Thank you, Lauren. And I want to say it was Chris that was after you.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. I also just first want to say I kind of agree with Lauren's sentiment there, because it's always in engineering has been a challenge to attract diversity. It's I don't know. We don't try to be exclusionary, but it seems like that may be what's happening. So for me, I'm actually going to give myself a 10 for my ability to contribute to the team, and it's because it's so fun and easy to feel like I'm creating something awesome on this team. Like everything seems like fun to work on and fun to share with the team. Also, I'm going to give a 10 for the team because I can't even believe that this is a thing that exists, and I get to do this each week. It's too awesome. For a Kaizen or a process improvement, personally, I'm going to try to stop saying And then second, for the team, if we could get back to the why Wikispeed works, I think, do we have a shared version of that document or something we can iterate on? Because I think it would be good to release that document this week if we all just kind of look at that as something we can throw a few minutes or a few hours into during this sprint. And that wraps it up for me.
Thank you, Chris. I did not quite exactly complete your full constant improvement, your process improvement.
Okay, so I even have to pull it back up. The why Wikispeed works document,
Mm-hmm.
is that shared? I know that there's been some email iterations on it. Is there a document that includes what has been written so far that is like a Google Doc, something shareable that we can all work on?
Yes. Does everybody not have access to it?
I'm not sure. So that may be a block for this. But my actual process improvement is if we can iterate through that document this week and make it releasable. Okay. If everybody just puts their opinion in and really their experience in, not their opinion. If we can release that just prior to next week's high five party, that would be awesome. I think that would actually be a good process improvement. I think it may motivate everyone to kind of read over it, add some information. So the real process improvement is to actually release that document.
Gotcha.
Next week.
Thank you. Reason I asked that is because I'm also documenting that now as well as recording. I'm like documenting everything. Yeah, that's what a Scrum Master does. Okay, and also finding that document too and making sure that's shared. I just share that email with you. I think Lauren, you're also CC'd on it. I think everyone else should be as well. It's in a shared Google Drive folder that I have. So if you don't have access, please reach out to William Newing, to me. Okay. And then I think, Stanley, you are after Chris. Please rate yourself how happy you are in your role, 1 through 10, and how happy you feel the team is, 1 through 10.
Okay, so how happy I am in my role this week, maybe a 6. I didn't help a lot the team this past week, just a little. And I consider the team, I gave the team a 9. I think the team had done pretty well. And I don't have a process improvement in mind currently.
Gotcha. Yeah. We'll still keep you. You don't have to have one. I'm just kidding. Michael, I believe you're next.
I think I'm going to go with a 4 for myself because I continue to set way too aggressive targets for myself, and I don't make them. Big surprise. So going on a straight numbers, here's what I aim for, here's what I hit. Yeah, I can't really go any higher than 4. I'm going to try and not overextend myself so much, be so exuberant on my list. For the team, I'm going to go with a 9.5. There's always room for improvement, and things are happening. Things are rocking. So I want it to keep going. And process improvement, releasing the document for why Wikispeed works would be awesome. I personally haven't done anything on that, so I will add that to my list for next week, and perhaps put that as the number 1 priority. That should be about it for me.
Thank you, Michael. And yes, also just share that with you. I hope everybody has access to this, but somehow I need to figure out a better way to do it for that why Wikispeed works or how Team Wikispeed works. I will just change that right now. Why Team Wikispeed works. And also, Michael, remember yesterday's weather. Using yesterday's weather in terms of getting things completed. If 4 items was what you got done, then please for next week just pick yourself 4 items. Don't add 4 more to make it 8, thinking that, yeah, no, this week we're going to do more. Please just limit to 4. I remember the days and weeks where I wanted to do so much more. I'm like, yeah, I could do it. It's okay. Like, let's be a little more realistic. And if we need to send you a box of chocolates, I will gladly do that. Or something else, whichever. Like Cheese of the Month Club, anything. All right, time to vote. I'm glad I wrote this down. So, attract more women volunteers and share why Wikispeed works stock. Or share it, like ship it, is the 2 choices. So, number 1, attract more women volunteers. Number 2, why Wikispeed works stock, share it. Is everyone ready to vote? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. 2. I get it, Stanley. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 twos, is that right? Am I doing it wrong? No, that's right. 4 twos. 4 twos and 1 1. And I think we will attract more women volunteers after we share why Wikispeed works. That's just my train of thought. But I will leave the I'll leave the doc for there, and I'm gonna actually ask, which is bad on me, ask Eli to come join us for his stand-up for guys, and also retrospective. Yeah, come on over.
No, that's fine.
He's horrible. You don't want to be on camera. I know. It's okay. Yeah. Come on, buddy.
What do you do?
Well, typically you stand up, but you know the table's only yay short, and you're yay short. So
Yeah.
yes. So stand up is what you did yesterday, meaning what you did last week.
Okay.
So what we did last week, and then what we're going to do this week, and then if there's any blocks.
Yeah, so I guess yesterday and today yesterday we did a lot of kind of planning out the sprint, I guess, and planning out the Bellevue College build, which all seemed pretty straightforward. And then we started in on kind of some of the stuff required to make the car road legal. And so the first one I kind of started with was the windshield wipers, which, you know, although the circuit itself is pretty straightforward, I guess the block there is that it's kind of the wires that you need are hidden in a mass of other wires in the fuse box that have, you know, are now in like a tube of wires that's, you know, 4 inches wide. So I think my solution is next week, instead of trying to like wire everything through the fuse box in the back with the original Honda parts, like since we really only need basic, you know, functionality like for, you know, lights on or off and windshield wipers on or off, none of the fancy like mist or anything like that. I think the solution is just to make a very simple dashboard with just like straightforward switches rather than trying to wire everything through the fuse box with the computer controls and whatnot. Yeah. And then, is that all?
And then retrospective is rating yourself how happy you are in your role. Your role meaning you're part of the development team here, and then it's 1 through 10 in terms of happiness. How happy are you? 1 being, I'm really, really sad. 10 being, this is super awesome, exciting and fun, and yeah, anywhere in between. Like, it could be a 5, like, yeah, I'm indifferent, this is okay, or it could be 7, 8, however you gauge, and then rating the team also how happy you think the team is in our functionality and what we do, which would be you and I or the whole team, it's all of us, 1 through 10. I know this seems very, very new, but we got to get through an icebreaker, right? It's going to be a first time. And next time
That's
we'll
fair.
Yeah.
I would say that I'm an 8 or a 9 because I, you know, think this stuff is really, really interesting, and I'm very excited to learn more. But at the same time, I am still, you know, getting my bearings in the shop and don't really know where like, you know, 90% of the tools are. So most of my time is spent like looking for tools or something like that, which isn't great. But you know, I feel like that's gonna get better. And then, you know, as for the team, I feel like I work really well with William. So, you know, I guess I'd give that 10. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then state your name, and where you're from.
I am Eli, and I'm in the Linwood shop.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hey, welcome to the team, Eli. That's awesome.
Thank you.
We are growing. And Eli actually is hailed from Jackson Wood from last year, our summer intern. Yeah, they're actually, I believe, family friends together. Yeah. So thank you, Jackson. Again, I've been saying that all demo. I think all week long. So very good. Excellent. That finishes our retrospective. 30-17. Oh, I'm slipping. 30 minutes and 70 seconds. Okay, so that moves us on to crosstalk. I think, Lauren, you said you had something you wanted to share. Is that right? I know, Lauren, Chris, you do too. And I have something for Stanley. So who would like to go first? Lauren, would you like to?
Okay. I'm just going to recommend. It's not available. I can't find it online yet. It's this month's Make. And
I got a copy too.
Yeah. So that Ada fruit. Did you read the article about Lemore Freed, Lady Ada?
You head out. All right. Take care of your life. Thank you.
Did you read, William? Did you read the Lady Ada?
No, I haven't. And I was just thinking about. I haven't read the whole thing. I was just skimming through a little
Very
bit.
interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
the manufacturing.
It's kind of a there's two things about it, and it's relevant to the women thing too,
Mm-hmm.
because it's actually owned by women only. That company, and they have no venture capital, no debt. They kind of just let it grow organically. Everything open source. But 100 employees in 50,000 foot space in Manhattan.
Wow. Wait, Manhattan as in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I really got to finish reading that then.
Manhattan or off Manhattan, but it's New York area. Yeah. So it's like it's a major U.S. manufacturer.
That's amazing.
And hundreds of products, all pretty much reviewed by the founder. Anyway, so I recommend if you can get it. It's the latest Make, and it's Ada Fruits Lemore Freed. That's her name. And I just thought it was interesting. And then again, looking at the cover here, this is a speculative kind of thing, and I like to kind of ask about it. When I learned that LEDs are just diodes, I thought, well, why don't people make control chips and everything on it lights up so you can tell how it's working partly by how it sparkles? And that's what they have. This is it. They're known for wearable stuff, but this isn't actually a complicated controller board like Arduino. But it's also, all the diodes are LEDs. And so then that got me thinking of having something like a panel on the car. And let me know how practical this is. A panel that folds down. Like the idea would be that this is one of my beefs about houses and things like that, is that they're built as if you have a man coming in, a working class man who's going to go down to your basement and he's going to do things like change your fuses or things like that. If the plumbing, it's hidden, it's all covered, whereas this kind of Bauhaus or the other idea of everything's exposed and really easy to access. So part of the dashboard, I wouldn't leave the lights could be distracting. The controller things could be distracting, but if you could have something that folds down that's on the dash and you can sit in the dash and troubleshoot the or change out controller card or cards. That was just a brainstorm I had. So that's it.
That's crazy and also amazing. Thank you, Lauren. Chris, I think you had something to discuss. Or oh no, actually, sorry, not yet. Lauren, didn't you want to discuss something about the? You said you had a block where you needed help with the.
Yeah. So
Switches?
I got everything. I was able to get everything. What I wanted to do was update the application for the charitable status, and basically I pushed off 2 years, 2010, 2011, and added 2016, 2015, and I was able to use tax returns that Joe provided, or somebody.
Yeah.
Was that you who provided them, or
I think it was Joe.
William? Yeah. But there wasn't anything that was like a real balance sheet. So for 2011 financials, there's a summary page, and it's just a short thing, but it is not working off other data. It's just written in there. So there's no formulas. that dog is funny.
Yeah. Cute though too.
And yeah, so I need something like, ideally, a balance sheet for 2016. It should be on the corporate filing, one of the corporate filings.
So you need a 2016
balance sheet on
balance
those.
sheet.
Yeah, assets and liabilities.
Okay.
Including current cash and things like that. That's what's on it. That's what's on the 2011 one. If I've got that, then I got everything. So the options are, I can just finish what I've got. I'm just going over everything again, and the not otherwise classified things that's what took a lot of the time, and I have to update with that with the final 2 years. But so I could just send that to Joe and let it be found and somebody enter it. That's what I'm tending to do. But if I can get a hold of it in the day or two, then I'll enter it myself. And so that's that block.
Okay. I'll put it at the top of our backlog for Lingwood Wikispeed, so that it's something that we could look into, and then get you a quicker response as to how we want to proceed, either with or without it, over the next few days. 2 days. Sound good? And then, real quickly for Stanley, I don't know if Gunnar had reached out to you yet. He is looking for a place to stay around U District in New UW. If he hasn't, I'll try to connect you both through that means. I think his plan for the apartment had fell through, so it's looking like he needs to move pretty fast. I'm hoping also that he can figure out a way to possibly do a month-to-month, so it wouldn't be in the middle of finals and also have to move, because I think everyone knows that's too much stuff going on at once. All right, and then Chris, other than I think what we had digitally talked about over email, was there something else that you wanted to do crosstalk? I think there was.
I think just a couple of things that maybe came up during discussion this time. First off, Stanley, you gave yourself a 6 for your ability to contribute because you only did what I would call the one most in the top priority of last sprint's planning is what you were able to take care of. So I just want to point that out. If that's all you were able to do, that's like a 6 million in my opinion.
Thank you,
Michael. Yeah, awesome. For Michael, William had mentioned yesterday's weather. That's basically the concept of taking the last 3 weeks worth of your velocity and basing this sprint planning on that, right? So it does help, and I run into this sometimes too. When you're alone in the shop, you don't have a tendency to estimate. You might not even throw something on a backlog board to keep it visible because it's just you there. You might want to demo it, but you may not actually track it. But so and I don't know if this will work for you, but my suggestion, Michael, would be to try to just take whatever next week's sprint plan is and estimate it out in some kind of a point system or t-shirt size system, and then do that for 3 weeks and see if it makes it a little easier to actually plan for sprint planning during each sprint. The last thing, actually, well, I will just say this. This is probably going to be boring to anyone who is not into WordPress. So I'm going to actually mute and see if anyone else has anything else to discuss, and then we might get into what my thoughts are on the WordPress block.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
This is the inside of my garage, and the only big white surface that you can see is actually the garage door. So my wife found some little so it's set up. We got a backlog. We got backlog. We got in progress, verify, and done. And you'll notice the done is kind of sparse there. So it's on the whiteboard until I actually start to do it and kind of flesh it out. And then it makes it way to stickies. And then the stickies move way on down. And if I change things as they're in progress or whatever, then I make the mark or the changes on the whiteboard. So it's actually sort of okay set up. It's just I haven't been out here long enough to actually do anything. So this minor amount of organization.
All I heard was this minor amount of organization.
I'm wondering if we all turn off our pictures. Would that help, Michael?
So we're getting your video, but not your audio right now, Michael.
Come on, go.
There we go. Is that you, Mike?
That is me. I can't see you. Maybe that's going to help me on my bandwidth. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We all
Yes.
turned off our video to help cut down on your to help you with your bandwidth.
Okay. So you saw the pictures. I have a backlog, an in progress, a verify, and a done, which is on very small portions of the whiteboard. Just feel quick. Moves into being gone. It gets way through the system. It's just that I haven't put in time and effort into being in the shop to actually have any stickies moving. And it looks like I dropped again.
I was able to hear you anyway. So, Michael, what I've found is that I maybe should turn my video on. When it comes to dealing with the shop, anyway, for me, it's not co-located to me, so I have to get over there and schedule that out. There's some blocks involved. So what I've found, really with anything that I've done for Wikispeed, is that context shifting is an issue, and keeping the stories as small as possible, something you can knock out very quickly, seems to be how things get done. When I start on a new task, when I shift context into whether I'm doing the website or I'm working on a car or trying to write something or whatever it might be, if the story is too large, it is not going to get done. So keeping it as small as possible. And like this last week, my story was just screw these nuts onto these bolts. And it doesn't seem like much, but it was a very important part in the overall getting done the major project. In fact, it was verifying the removal of a block, because it's not like this is the first time I tried that, and I purchased the wrong ones. But it was a very small story, and it motivated me to go do it, knock it out, and I know exactly how much effort it took, and all of those things. So I hope that helps anyway.
Well, thanks for the advice, and hopefully I can put it to good use. Sorry, guys, I got to go.
Okay.
I have an appointment here shortly, so I will talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
Enjoy your sunshine there.
Yeah, it looks great.
The little bit that we have, right?
All right. Thank you so much, Michael. Lauren, did you have anything else, or Stanley? I know Chris wants to talk more about the WordPress, and if anyone else does not have anything further, Chris, please take it away with the WordPress and how we can unblock you or get it to done would be ideal.
Okay, so give me 1 second to review what I wrote about it. Okay, so I think that the solution is going to have, this is very WordPress specific, right? So we need to use WordPress hooks. WordPress hooks include filters and actions. I believe it's going to be filters. I don't know this at this point, but basically the envision is that we can take the custom fields from a user profile and turn those into variables that are usable by the paid, well, what is it called? Paid Membership Pro plugins email plugin, because that's what's not working. So there's quite a few ways to go about this, I think, but the main take on it is it's going to take some advanced WordPress plugin development. It's possible to do without editing any of the existing files. So that's what I know about it right now. So my thinking on this is that what we really need to do is like you had suggested, William, is I need to somewhere that's shared with us, build a backlog of first what the vision is, where we're at and where we need to be. And then I will try to give as much advice of what I think that path looks like as I can, without trying to keep anyone from finding a better solution. But so that's what I know about it right now. And really, I think that if anyone is interested in this, if this is a block that you would like to remove, if you're a WordPress guru or you want to be, because I didn't know anything about WordPress before I started with Wikispeed. I think maybe a little video conference that I can go over and demo what I know about it so far and what the pieces are, how it kind of works. I don't know how in depth we would go. It depends on who wants to be on the call. But so that's my thoughts on it anyway. So if anyone's interested in that, definitely let me know.
Are these fields just involved in the database side of the plugin, or is also there's some plugin code involved?
Right. That's a great question. So the fields are definitely in the database. The plugins that are involved are putting those fields into the database. The issue is one of the plugins has a set style of using that information as variables, and it does not include any of the custom that it doesn't include any of the fields that are actually created by the other side of its plugin. It's kind of a weird situation. It's one thing that I need to explain up front about this. I will call it an array of plugins. So paid membership Pros is an array of plugins. There's a plugin that creates the base system, and then there are many that added into this. So when someone registers, fields are created in their user account. When we send an email, only the original fields that aren't created by the other half of the plugins are accessible through their easy variable style. So that's the real issue that we're trying to overcome. Would be a lot in the back end. I think there's an easy way and a hard way to do it, and that's what we can discuss further if we want to kind of form a team around, or if we want to swarm on knocking this out. I hope that answered your question, Stanley.
Yeah, that the plugin that needs this information is part of this suite of WordPress commercial plugin. I didn't know that. So yeah, that makes it even weirder.
Yeah.
The issue.
Yeah, that is a word. And also, I'm suggesting that we can look at alternative. Paid Membership Pro was one of the major factors for the updating of the site into what it is currently, which is great. I'm curious to know if we utilize a different plugin than Paid Membership Pro, because Paid Membership Pro is a plugin that's mainly useful for an organization's paid memberships or renewal of those, whereas we're not. However, it does have a lot of the infrastructures that we do use, so we can weigh out and see what that works. I've played around with SurveyMonkey before, but not on the back-end side as far as the plugin. So I'm curious if SurveyMonkey could give us some insight.
That's awesome. Actually, I don't know if I put that in the email. I definitely didn't mention it on during this call. But yes, and using another plugin is always an option if we decide to go that route. One thing is, what I was in explaining how the plugin we're currently using works, is there's clearly some technical debt involved, and we would love to overcome that, because it seems like it's become almost a trend that there's always something that's kind of like you got to work around how they're dealing with this. They don't necessarily work in the WordPress paradigm the same way that other plugins do. If we're going to replace that portion of the website as a module, I would like to take at least one sprint to document the features that plugin is allowing us that we require, because it's member sign up, it's automated email notifications, and it's a member area that we can add links and content to, right? That's really what it's providing. If there's a better plugin for that doesn't require what's the root cause? If week after week we're trying to figure out these little tweaks, that's perfectly acceptable, but I would like to me that would be the criteria. We need to make a nice prioritized backlog of the features we currently have, so none of those get lost in the transition. And that's perfect. I love that suggestion, Lloyd.
Agreed. Oh, thank you. Agreed. That'll be great. Let me help you add some stuff to that backlog also. I can see if I can do that right now. No, not my own personal backlog. Another thing I want to do is actually update and change some of the background colors of everyone's Trello, or at least the ones that I'm associated with. So maybe if the team's okay with, I'll bring that up next time. That could be a process improvement. Darn it. Is to change the background of the Trello backboards, because I think changing that background really uplifts it when you look at the board. Like, it's a blue board, great. Like, oh wait, that's so pretty. Like, yeah, a little happier. I'll take 1 out of 10 points, to increase that a little bit more. So, okay, that's the distributed team, onboard members, website enhancements. This is where you want it to live, right? Do you want me to just add it on here and go down to maybe add it to the bottom or whatnot, of just checking out some of the things, or any other ideas, thinking such as we already have the site cloned once before, so if we can clone another site, clone the current site somewhere, and then play around in a sandbox where we replace the WordPress or Paid Memberships Pro with SurveyMonkey and test that out, and then if that fits our exit criteria, then we can ship it, and hopefully it would be a seamless ship, so we're not having our website down. Like, no, that's what I had in mind in terms of how that works. So
Yeah, perfect. If you want to throw a user story, and I think I caught that in the distributed teams website backlog. That wording is perfect, and we'll definitely iterate from there.
okay.
Like I said, I think documenting the current features we're using for that whole plugin is important. It may end up being separate plugins. It may be that SurveyMonkey takes care of one huge part of that, and it may, I don't know. I know what SurveyMonkey is, but I am not familiar with their feature list. Or, well, I'm not familiar with their whole feature list, I will say.
Same. So yeah, it was a useful example. It's something that just came to mind since one of the books I'm reading and I just finished, which is Plan B by Cheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook. Her husband passed a few years ago, and this is the book that she wrote about regarding that, how to move forward. It's actually a really, really good read. Touched a lot, and actually Dave Goldberg was the CEO of SurveyMonkey. So yeah, that just popped up as far as an example. Great, I will document
That's
that,
awesome.
and also agreed for the demo of that to do a little conference. I think given that it's volunteer and work hours, perhaps an evening times would be best. I'm going to send out a team for everyone to check out Calendly. Interesting enough, it was actually a project idea that I had about 6 years ago, and I started a group to actually work on this app, but none of us had any technical background, so we tried to push forward on it, but enough scrutiny from everyone else, I think we just broke us. So that happens, but it's okay, you know. Startups are 70% meant to fail, but I'm glad that other people had similar idea and made this app, which is awesome because it's a online web tool that allows people to coordinate and collaborate to make an appointment, an event really easily, whether it's 15, 20, 30 minutes or an hour. And I thought, well, this is great. So if we need to actually make ad hoc meetings or things like that remotely also, then let's use that app where instead of having to go back and forth by phone or email, this is just saying, okay, these are the times that I think I'm available for this event. Let me send this out, and then the rest of the group, the people that gets this link, can say, oh, okay, that worked. Click on that and make that work.
Oh, I think you're absolutely onto something there. So, yeah, probably shouldn't have. It's not necessarily a video conference that we need. It's that we needed a discussion started around it, and like you said, impromptu. If we need to have a video conference, that'll be perfect. In the same vein that you were saying, I will say that I added a plugin to Slack at one point that I believe if you type /Hangout, it actually will launch an impromptu Google Hangout. I think that's the code for it. But back to the main point is, let's continue this. I think there's already an email thread for it on Google Groups. Anyone that wants to be added to it and is interested in it, we'll go that route, and I'll try to first type it out. Again, we're volunteers. We don't always have time to schedule, Tuesday at 9 a.m. for for a quick extra extended Google Hangout or whatever it may be, video conference. So, yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. All right. That sounds great. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add? Nope. All right.
No. Lauren,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Lauren.
next week.
Oh, see you next week? I think that's what I heard?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. 59 minutes and 7:04. My apologies for the delay, but within an hour, I'm going to wait here and upload it, and have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.